Hello, landmines and jellyfish. Welcome back to Knives, I guess, and how you doing? I hope you're having a great day. I'm having a pretty good day, but do me a favor and hit that like button to the terrorists win. And on a recent live stream, we went in on the Kizer Aegis. So let's take a look at what we're holding, because it'll bother you if I don't. And you know I love you. So, first things first, and most importantly, the pocket clip is tip up, which is the Lord's carry. We have got the brown, I believe it's G10 right here, with the lasered in snowflakes that looks really good. We got the gold hardware, we got a thumb stud. Let's flick the stud. We have got a little less than 3 inches of AEBL stainless steel, and of course we got all T8 hardware until you get to the thumb stud, which is a T6. Okay. So I carried this thing. I absolutely freaking loved it. It was a great carry. My God, especially for 40 bucks. This is really, really good for 40 bucks. I was delighted with this thing. And of course, with it being a limited holiday edition, that just makes it a little bit better for me. That's going to put it in the drawer with the nice knives instead of going in the box in the graveyard box. So, yeah, I mean, it did really good as far as carrying it, day-to-day, using it. No complaints whatsoever. But let's go to the car hole and I will show you the pile of cardboard that we made on the factory edge. Here you go. Alright folks, welcome back to the car hole, and here's the pile of cardboard we made on the factory edge on the Kizer Aegis with the AEBL steel. I guess it's not too shabby. We haven't done AEBL before. Okay, so now that you've seen that, it did decent. Like, it did decent compared to other steels, but I don't know how it does for AEBL. This is our first data point for AEBL, so, like, compared to other steels like 14C, 28N, and stuff like that, it did decent. I have no complaints there about it whatsoever. Again, especially for a $40 knife. That was a reasonable sized pile of cardboard for how I think AEBL should have performed, going off of the description other people have given me. I forget what they said it was analogous to or very similar to, but that's okay. My brain no brain good memory is fried from years of partying way too hard. You guys, my life was buck wild for a while there. But let's get into the timeline of events, because of course I wrote everything down. And we started at a 192 on the edge sharpness tester, which was kind of on the dull side. Not as bad as we've seen, but kind of on the dull side. Little tiny bit high. I like him to see him 150 to 175. But we went for an hour and we pulled a 510 in the center right here where we tested. And there were no real hot spots showing up yet. At the 2 hour mark, there was a 558 in the center. And we had some small hot spots. Not too bad. We were starting to see intermittent bad cuts. After 20 more minutes, we found, we stopped and we checked at the 2 hour, 20 minute mark. Those intermittent bad cuts means we had a dead spot somewhere that we didn't catch on the test, because we tested the one spot in the center where I thought it was the worst. But we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different tests. We got a 716, 402, 530, 589, and 557. The 716 is a little bit suspect, but that 589 is very believable. That's right at the 600 mark, so definitely devastated edge. So we stopped, and we pulled the thumb stud, which was nice to be able to remove it. We sharpened it to 400 grit, and we stropped it down to 5 microns on the strop. And we got a 150 on the edge sharpness tester, a much nicer number. And so we got through 10 cuts on the 1-inch hemp rope. And we went from 150 to a 207 and a 317. So we lost some points. Now, this is the first time we've done this like this. Of course, if you've seen the last couple of videos, you know, but if you're new here, I just recently added the rope cut to the edge retention testing. And so now I've standardized it. We're doing 10 cuts and we're seeing how many points we lose before, like how many points we have before and how many points we've lost after those 10 cuts. So we lost 167 points from what I can tell. Yeah, I believe it's 167 points. I don't know if that's a lot or not yet. I don't know, but that's our first data point on that. But we sharpened her down and got her to a 149. So this thing definitely takes an edge really well. If I remember right, it sharpened pretty quickly too. The AEBL sharpened pretty damn fast. Definitely on the softer side, and you can see here. You can see all the hairline scratches that it picked up. CR series steels will do that really bad. You know, it's just a ton of hairline scratches from the cardboard. Let's see. Yeah, you can see all those hairline scratches in there. So it definitely picked up a lot of scratches, and it's showing the wear. CR series steels will do that, so this is probably directly comparable to a CR series steel or somewhere in that window. You know, like D2 won't pick up hardly any. 14C28N seems to not pick up much in the way of scratches from the cardboard, but you get down into CR series steels and they pick up that haze. So let's go back out to the car hole, and I will show you the pile of cardboard we made on the edge that we put on there the second time. Here you go. We find ourselves in the car hole once again, and here's the pile of cardboard made on the second edge that we put on the Kizer Aegis. Remarkably similar to the first pile. I think the factory edges were pretty close to the one we put on there. Okay, so now that you've seen that, it's pretty similar to the first one, and like I mentioned in the car hole, I think the factory edge was pretty close to the edge angle that I put on there myself. I believe that was 17 degrees per side. I didn't write that down, unfortunately. I'm not sure why, but that was also a bit of a grind on that live stream, so I wasn't necessarily on top of my game. But, you know, with being sharpened down to 149 and going through that much cardboard and having such a similar cut, like there was a bit more. There was a little bit more cardboard cut up, and that's probably because we started at a 149 instead of a 192. You know, we were about 50 points lower on the scale. And yeah, that's just, I'm spitballing guesses, but as fast and easy as it sharpened up, I think we were already really close to 17 degrees per side, or 18 degrees whenever we started, which lines up with what we saw on the pile of cardboard on the floor of the garage. Now, let's go over the timeline of events on that and what happened while we were doing that. So at the 1 hour mark, we went for an hour. At the 1 hour mark, we pulled a 346, 284, 367, somewhere in the center. The hot spot finally got really bad, which may have been from the amount of abuse I put my hand through on those rope cuts. If you look at it on video, those cuts on the 1-inch rope look so much easier than they actually are. My God, they are hard on your hand. Jesus. But, you know, the numbers there are a lot more believable than the 510. It did a lot better there. Let's see. Next page. At the 2 hour mark, we pulled a 438, a 400, and a 433 in the center here, and towards the back, we pulled a 330. The hot spot calmed down a little bit. The callus on my hand is getting thick again after taking a couple months off. My hand got real soft. I had baby hands for a couple of weeks there. But at the 3 hour mark, there was a 531 and a 646 in the center. That was definitely a dead edge. And at the 15-minute mark, 3 hours and 15 minutes, we called it toast. We tried to push a little bit further and see if I could maybe fix it with my edge alignment or something like that and get some more cuts out of it. Nah, it was done. That 646 was definitely toast. So we sharpened her, and this time it went down to a 132. And of course, that's taking this to 3000 grit and stropping it down to 0.1 microns and giving it a nice fat mirrored bevel. Getting it as screaming sharp as I can. Of course, I can't get them hair whittling sharp. I don't know why, but I can definitely do my best. Yeah, like I said, I'm definitely no Neebs, and I'm definitely no Outdoors 55, but we got her sharpened up. She took a really nice edge. So yeah, overall, I'm quite pleased with how it performed. I'm quite pleased with how it did. Even though I don't know what AEBL is supposed to do, the performance on Cardboard Slayer was certainly good enough that I am happy with the steel overall for what it is. For something that picked up so many hairline scratches, it definitely held its edge well enough, and it stood up to Cardboard Slayer. Going from 2 hours and 20 minutes to 3 hours, 3 hours, 15 minutes, give or take. It did really well. Like, it did well enough. If this was 8CR13, then I would be looking at about the same kind of performance, maybe a little bit of variance, but not much. So yeah, this is the performance on Cardboard Slayer was pretty comparable to 8CR13. Not too shabby for 40 bucks. The fit and finish are good, everything else, and the AEBL is supposed to be a really stainless steel, really hard to rust out. So that's about all I know about it. That's really all about it. About all I know about it. But you guys know I love sharing with you what happened during Cardboard Slayer. Oh, by the way, I forgot. When we ended the first run of cuts and stopped and checked the edge and all that, that's what we were getting out of our cuts. And then at the end of the second run, where is it? Well, like, we started getting that. And there were a couple of them that were a lot worse than that, but that's what we saved from the last couple of cuts we made. Totally forgot to do that, but I don't think you guys are really that worried about it. The science has been scienced. But yeah, you know I love sharing with you what happened during Cardboard Slayer. That's what happened with the Kizer Aegis during Cardboard Slayer. I'm quite pleased with this thing overall. But all that being said, thanks for looking at my crap. Subscribers, you guys are awesome. Y'all keep coming in. I appreciate you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We got live streams, regular videos. There's plenty of activities. Comments, I love some feedback. Let me know what you think about this thing or anything else. And all that being said, y'all have a nice day.